Uh-oh, my character's cold. Uh-oh. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jade Monkey, and we're back here in DayZ. We're in a very special version of DayZ. We're in Experimental 1.10, and this is for... Oh, this will go to Live Branch, which will pertain to everybody, which is PS4, Xbox, and the PC. Now, the experimental version is only out currently for the Xbox and the PC, and there are separate downloads for both Steam and for the Xbox. So if you're looking for it on the Xbox, just type in the store DayZ Experimental, DayZ Space Experimental, and you should be able to find it. So, you know, what changes are here? We'll go over some of the surface level changes, some of the things we're specifically looking for and that we will be testing as a player base here over on the Xbox. And don't worry if you're on the PlayStation 4, these changes will come to the Live Branch again. DayZ 1.10 will come out for everything when it hits Live Branch, and I know PlayStation has a different naming scheme or numbering system for Sony. Just know that your number will be higher. I should just say this is the update, or this is the experimental version for at the end of October 2020 to early November 2020. And this could very well be a release late October, early November, if that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, we'll go over some of the surface level changes, but here's one of the major things. As a player base, the people that have been trying to play 109 for quite some time, as you know, the game, 109 has been plagued with not just loot spawned in one time. It's when you pull it off a loot socket, things don't spawn back in on that loot socket once you've moved them. And I'm trying to see if that has changed for 1.10. And unfortunately, I can't really say yet. Things are looking promising, but I think as a player base here, we are going to have to really test that, especially over on the Xbox. So what I would recommend, if you're going to an area, or, okay, hang on, let me get down. I was hoping to find some loot up here. No such luck. Now just remember, this game has scarcity. Right, so loot is always going to be hard to find. So this is kind of a hard thing to test. We almost have to test this over a few days to see if this is going to work. We did test 109 experimental a couple days ago. Let me just say we tested the loot conditions there. We would pick loot up off of a loot socket and put it in the street, and we did Cami, Shovo, the entire place. And came back, I don't know, 3 hours later, and nothing had spawned back in, and all of the loot was still in the road. Now, despawn timers are supposed to be extended. They are different for different types of loot, so keep that in mind. But just know when we tested experimental 109, we did not see a change. But since 110 is here, we're trying to do the same thing here. So we're going to do it ourselves, but it'd be awesome if you guys, the players on PC and Xbox, we could do the same thing and see if we have things spawn back in. Now, I was able to test this earlier, grab something, excuse me, at the back end of Cami, and I saw something else spawn in, but I think it was in a different loot socket, if that makes sense. So basically, the place you pick it up, we want to see new loot spawn back in. So write down in your phone, on a notepad, whatever it takes to keep track of this stuff. What I like to do is I hit an area, and I try to just loot everything. I hit vicinity. Let me see if we can go up here and maybe find a good example without having to fight too many zombies. This character's probably going to get wrecked. And again, I think this is important because if we can test this and communicate this thoughtfully to Bohemian Interactive on the forums and stuff, and not just complain about it, I think we could see a change. So I see, like, I got this out of here, which is good, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to spawn back. So if I loot this whole shoreline and check every socket and hit vicinity, and I know I've checked it, and even if it's stuff I don't want, I'll put it in the street or somewhere that's very visible. I want to see if new loot's coming back. So here's what this means. If we do this, and I come back to this barn tomorrow, and there's loot in this shed, in the socket where it spawns, that's a good sign for us. That is an excellent sign, because 109 and 110 are, like, 109 is relatively stable. There's a lot of really cool game elements in there. There's, like, new stuff. The building stuff is awesome. We had a blast playing it on official. At least 108. So, like, all we've been really waiting for are these loot changes. So, again, just to kind of go over this just a little bit more, and then we'll hit some of the surface level changes that are coming in here, which are, there's some big gotchas. And it would behoove people that aren't playing on experimental to at least take note of some of those, because they are going to get you dropped pretty quickly. Okay, so yeah, just keep a lookout, keep looting particular areas, write down the server number, go into houses, check everywhere, use vicinity, and then put things that you don't want in the street. or somewhere that's highly visible. Like like this guy. You put all this metal in here. That's not where this typically spawns. But I'll stick this outside just so we know that it's not an indoor spawn. This is basically something that somebody dropped, more or less. So yeah, to go back to my original point, if this comes in, this is going to be so playable and so much fun across the board. And as you know, we play unofficial quite regularly, especially on stream. So we've just been waiting for like 109 to get fixed. I had no idea 110 was like on the cusp like this. So I'm hoping that they kind of usher in the changes with this overall change, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully I'm not rambling too much. I know a lot of us really want to play this, and we feel like our hands are tied, and it's hard to play unofficial or anything else. And I feel bad for new players. Like if you don't know, I mean, this game is already difficult. If you don't know that the shoreline has no loot for you to survive, you're gonna hate this game. You're gonna hate it. You're not gonna know that's like a bug. So, anyways, if you're a new player, I would highly suggest staying on 109 and also playing community servers that you know have verified loot spawning in. Here's another good example. See, like right in the road, I'm just gonna put this here. I don't need that. And if I go back and check this house, we should be good. Okay, so hopefully loot is fixed. It's looking promising, but again, we have to settle in and find out. Okay, so let's go over some of the surface level changes. And again, I'll go over a more detailed list because there's quite a bit, but I just want to get some of the higher ticket items and some gotchas that I noticed immediately off the list. Okay, so get this. If you played old school Arma DayZ as a mod, this is going to sound familiar to you. Are you ready? You can now break the player's lower leg. Damage is applied by falling or brute force. This is going to make man, I hope this is going to be so much fun. Walking fighting with a broken leg will result in shock damage. So if you jump or somebody baps you in the knees, you're gonna be super slow. Okay, so splints are gonna be a thing again. So grab your rags, grab your sticks. It's going to be a thing. It's gonna be a trolling mechanic, and I can't wait for that. Okay, they also added the signal pistol and its ammunition, which is cool, awesome. We can do a lot of cool stuff. But again, I think we're really waiting for those loot changes so we can just get in and play. All right, let's go. Oh yeah, get this. Again, these are a lot of old things that used to be in the game a while ago, but they removed them when they added their new engine. Ready? Added crafted tanned leather using guarded lime. Finally, that's back. So, more improvised backpacks and stuff? Question mark? It looks like it. And get this. Added crafted improvised shelters. Heyo. And to go along with that, there's also a new material called a tarp. I did pick it up on one of my other players, but as you can see, my food is rapidly depleting. So it's been hard to collect things, but... So yeah, new material. Let's see, the ability to place ruined parts with a tarp on window covers. Oh, okay, the tarp looks like it's like a patching tool for tents. That's cool. So maybe not the sewing kits, but again, we'll test all these things live on stream. Not only the loot system, but some of these new mechanics as best we can. And again, I'll go over and do a more full list, because this list itself is so big. I mean, that would take like 20 minutes just for me to read through, which we'll do, just not in this video. I just wanted you guys to get the gist and let you know that the DayZ 1.10 is coming, and experimental is currently available for everybody. Oh, dude, my food is toast. I'm like sitting here trying to read this. I'm looking at it, I'm like, why is my food red? I guess it's a good time to go through and say the overall weather system and condition for your player has had a big overhaul. It's more complex. And it looks like when I'm by the shoreline here, this wind that's blowing through is going to affect me and my overall temperature. And it looks like shelter just under canopies and inside of houses can help you a lot, and will remove some of these ambient winds and temperatures that are happening around. And just know, just like real life, if you're down by the shoreline, it's going to be a little bit breezier, a little bit cooler. And as you know, cold temperature absolutely destroys your food in this game. See, that's not on a loot socket, but I'm going to pick it up anyway and move it, just so it's a bit easier to see. I really hope the loot's fixed, I really do. But again, it's too early for us to say. Anyways, okay. Let me just see, there's a couple good ones. Okay, so get this. Added smoking slot to several types of fireplaces used to dry meats. Haven't tried that, looking forward to that, to see what that's all about. Punching now deals damage to gloves and can cause bleeding to bare hands. There is now a cooldown, or items that have been heated, which we've used in the past to heat ourselves up to stop the cold. Food will now slowly lose its heat, and it will also decay. Whoa. That's huge. So no longer stockpiling massive amounts of food, you have to use it. So more like real life. And again, I welcome these changes with open arms if the loot is spawning in correctly. Dude, that's going to be crazy. There's, I guess, a shock damage effect now. And what was it? We had another one in here. There we go. Exposure to wind will make your character freeze more. Force provide cover. That's cool. Food decays over time. We got that. Apparently, repairing car parts now works on the vehicle chassis with epoxy putty, so it's not just for helmets anymore. It looks like they've done a lot of cool stuff with the car. I guess they added a pipe wrench too, and it looks like possibly the pipe wrench will help repair. Oh, there you go. It'll repair damage to the engine on a vehicle, which is cool. And again, we almost always get a vehicle almost every wipe, so. We're looking forward to seeing what all of this will usher in as far as gameplay. Oh yeah, items cool down over time in player's inventory and on the ground, so again that affects food. That's a pretty big gotcha. I think one of the biggest ones you're probably going to have to look out for is learn how to do the crafted splint and try to really figure out what that condition looks like. Because if somebody makes a big jump off of a building, like a police station, to like evade somebody, you're going to cripple your player pretty severely. It'll be hard to run away from zombies and characters, so that's going to be a big one. I suspect a lot of people will be confused when they're like, why am I walking slow? Like, oh, your legs are broken. So anyways, I hope this is going to usher in the changes that we really want as far as loot changes. Again, we'll be testing it. If it'd be cool if everybody else did too. We'll try to put some of our findings over in Discord. Try to share it with Behemoth Interactive as best we can in a respectful way. I don't want people going in there and just bagging on them and you know, because they're trying to fix the game, and you know, people just coming in with ill-informed you know, changes. They're like, oh hey, this broken fix bad now. Like that's not going to help anybody. That's going to probably cause more problems than anything. So you know, if you're going in there, try to put it on the forums first and foremost. And if you're communicating on Twitter, please be respectful. As they are people too, and I know the developers do care about this game. I think that maybe Behemoth Interactive, the mothership, maybe doesn't give them as much support as they need. So I think they really are passionate, and they struggle to get things done because they're under-resourced, if that makes sense. But that's my opinion. But yeah, hopefully you found this useful, helpful. Be sure to drop a like if you did. And we will be testing this. Look out for another video happening soon. I want to say today-ish, but it's either today or tomorrow, depending on when this goes out. And yeah, stay tuned for that. Consider dropping a subscribe and turning on those notifications. That's a good way to see when we're live, and also see the next video that comes out. We do a lot of open world survival games like DayZ and also Rust. We are waiting for the old Rust beta information, the official information for the Rust beta. So we will be playing that heavily on the consoles and on the new console. Yeah, what? So that's going to be intense. Also, I'm super pumped. This is kind of a side note, a bit of a ramble. I can't wait for the Series X to try DayZ with all these improvements. Like, I know this game needs optimization and stuff, but like with just the sheer raw hardware and some of the backwards compatibility support that the Series X has, I'm anxious to see what this does for performance on DayZ. And yes, since we play primarily on console and on the Xbox, I will be switching over to the Series X playing DayZ, and so you guys will get to see what that's like. So what is that, November for both consoles? We have the PS5 and about mid-November, something like that. So I'm excited. So you know, stay tuned for that, and hopefully again we'll see you on the live streams and on the next video. All right, I'll see you later. Bye. Man, my food's already gone. I'm gonna have to drop my gear somewhere.